Admiral Keksif stood on the bridge of his massive warship. His blue skin gleamed under the bright lights. His 4 arms moved across the control panels with practiced ease. Behind him, the largest fleet in galactic history waited for his orders. "Today, we claim the human worlds," he said to his officers. His voice echoed through the ship's communication system. For too long, these weak creatures have hidden in their corner of space. They think their 1,000 years of peace makes them safe. They are wrong. The other alien captains nodded. They had heard stories about humans. Small, weak beings with only 2 arms and soft skin. They had no claws, no natural armor, no venom. How could such pathetic creatures survive in a dangerous universe? Captain Vexra, his second in command, pulled up a holographic display. It showed the human territory, 12 star systems with dozens of planets and space stations. Our intelligence reports show they have no military fleet, no weapons of war. They spend their time growing plants and making art. Admiral Keksif laughed. It was a harsh sound that made the bridge crew smile. Perfect. This will be the easiest conquest in galactic history. Send the message. The communication officer activated the long-range transmitter. The message would reach every human world at the same time. Admiral Keksif had written it himself. He was proud of how scary it sounded. "Humans of Earth and the colonies," his voice boomed across space. "I am Admiral Keksif of the Zephyrian Empire. By order of the Galactic Council, your species is now at war with the superior races of the galaxy. You have 7 standard days to surrender all your worlds. If you refuse, we will take them by force. Your weak civilization ends now." The message finished transmitting. Admiral Keksif smiled, showing his sharp teeth. Now we wait for their terrified response. On Earth, Captain Jake Martinez sat in his office drinking coffee. He was the head of Earth's diplomatic team. The alien message had just finished playing. On his computer, he took another sip of coffee and shrugged. "Karen, can you get me a line to Admiral Keksif?" He called to his assistant. Karen looked up from her desk. "Sure thing, Jake. Should I use the formal diplomatic channel?" "Nah, just the regular one is fine." A few minutes later, Admiral Keksif's angry face appeared on Jake's screen. The alien expected to see fear. Instead, Jake was smiling and looked relaxed. "Thanks for the heads up about the war," Jake said cheerfully. "I always like to know what's happening. Do you guys need directions to Earth? I can send you our current star charts. They're probably more accurate than whatever old maps you're using." Admiral Keksif's 4 eyes widened. You are not afraid?" "Afraid? Why would I be afraid?" Jake laughed. "Look, Admiral, I appreciate you following proper diplomatic procedures. Most species just show up without calling first. Very rude. But since you're being polite about it, I'll make sure our traffic control knows you're coming. Don't want any accidents in busy space lanes." The alien admiral stared in shock. This was not how conquests were supposed to go. "Human, do you not understand? We are declaring war on your entire species." Jake nodded. "Yeah, I got that part. Karen, can you add this to the calendar? Mark it as Galactic Council declares war. Should we prepare the usual welcome packages for visitors?" Karen typed on her computer. "I'll get the catering department on it. Should we do the vegetarian options too? Some aliens can't eat meat." Admiral Keksif's mouth fell open. "You are treating this like a social event." "Well, sort of," Jake said. "I mean, you're coming all this way to visit. It would be rude not to offer refreshments. Oh, and Admiral, when you get here, try to park your ships in the designated areas. We just finished repainting the orbital lane markers. The transmission ended." Admiral Kext H stood frozen on his bridge. His officers looked confused. Captain Vexra spoke first. "Sir, perhaps they did not understand the message?" "Send it again," the Admiral ordered. "Make it clearer." Meanwhile, the news of the alien war declaration spread across human space. On Earth, people watched the news while eating lunch. Most of them chuckled and went back to their daily activities. In Central Park, children played on swings while their parents sat on benches. "Did you hear about the aliens declaring war?" one mother asked another. "Oh, yes," the second mother replied, watching her son go down a slide. "My husband thinks it's funny. He says they obviously haven't done their homework about us." On the moon, Dr. Lisa Thompson worked in the Lunar Observatory. She was tracking the alien fleet with her telescopes. Her partner, Dr. Ryan Phillips, looked at the data. "Interesting ship designs," Lisa said. "Very aggressive looking. All weapons." "And armor," Ryan laughed. "Poor things. They have no idea what they're getting into. Want to bet on how long they last?" "That's not very nice, Ryan. They're probably doing their best. I give them 2 weeks before they start asking for help." On the space station orbiting Mars, Commander Bill Johnson received the formal war declaration. He read it twice, then called his crew together. "Folks, we just got word that some aliens had declared war on us," he announced. The crew looked up from their work with mild interest. "Should we be worried, sir?" asked Lieutenant Sue Davis. "Nah," Bill replied. "Just keep doing what you're doing. If they show up here, be polite. Offer them coffee. These things usually work themselves out." Back on Admiral Kexith's ship, the second message had been sent. This time, they made it even more threatening. They included pictures of their weapons and descriptions of what they would do to human cities. Jake Martinez received this message too. He forwarded it to the entertainment department. "This might make a good comedy show," he told Karen. "Very dramatic, though the special effects could use work." Admiral Kexith waited for a response. When it came, it was not what he expected. Instead of surrender or pleas for mercy, he received a formal thank you note from the Earth Tourism Board. "Thank you for your interest in visiting Earth and our colonies," the message read. "We have received your dramatic presentation and appreciate the effort you put into it. While we cannot accommodate your request for unconditional surrender, we would be happy to arrange guided tours of our worlds. Please let us know your dietary restrictions and preferred accommodations." The alien admiral stared at the message. Around him, his bridge crew looked worried. This was not how wars were supposed to start. "Sir," Captain Vexra said quietly, "maybe our intelligence about humans was wrong." Admiral Kexith's confidence began to crack. But he had come too far to back down now. "Begin the advance," he ordered. "We will show them the power of the Galactic Council." As the alien fleet moved toward human space, people across Earth went about their normal lives. They worked in their gardens, attended school, and visited friends. The war declaration had become a minor news story, somewhere between the weather report and the sports scores. Nobody seemed worried. In fact, most humans found the whole situation rather amusing. 3 weeks had passed since the aliens declared war. Admiral Kexith's huge fleet moved through space toward the first human colony. He had chosen the mining station at Kepler 442 as his target. It looked weak and helpless on his scanners. "This will be easy," he told his officers. "One small station with a few hundred humans. We destroy it, and the rest will surrender in fear." The mining station hung in space near a large asteroid field. It looked old and simple. No weapons were visible. On its surface, no military ships guarded it. Admiral Kexith smiled with his sharp teeth. "All ships, prepare for attack," he commanded. On the mining station, Chief Ben Adams sat in his office drinking tea. He was a calm man with gray hair and kind eyes. His assistant knocked on the door. Sir, we have alien ships approaching. They look angry. Ben nodded and pressed a button on his desk. Attention all station personnel. We have visitors who seem upset. Please move to the safe areas. This should not take long. The families and workers on the station moved calmly to the protected sections. They had practiced this many times. Children held their parents' hands and asked questions. Are the aliens really going to fight us, Daddy? A little girl asked. Her father smiled. They might try, sweetie. But don't worry. Our station is very strong. Ben Adams watched the alien fleet get closer. There were 50 warships, each one. Bigger than his entire station. Their weapons were charging up. Ben pressed another button. Defense grid, please activate, he said politely. Around the station. What looked like simple communication dishes and solar panels began to change. They unfolded and repositioned themselves. Energy began to flow between them in patterns that hurt the eyes to look at. Admiral Kexith watched his scanners with confusion. What are those readings? The station is generating massive amounts of energy. Sir, their power output just increased by 10,000%, reported his science officer. Impossible. That little station cannot have such power. The Admiral decided to attack anyway. All ships opened fire. 50 alien warships fired their main weapons at once. Beams of deadly energy lanced through space toward the human station. Each beam was strong enough to destroy a city. Admiral Kexith expected to see the station explode into pieces. Instead, something wonderful and terrible happened. The energy beams simply vanished. They hit the space around the station and disappeared like raindrops falling into a deep lake. Where did our weapons fire go? Admiral Kexith shouted. Unknown, sir. The energy readings suggest it was absorbed by some kind of field around the station. Ben Adams sipped his tea and opened a communication channel to the alien fleet. Hello there, he said in a friendly voice. I am Chief Adams of Mining Station 7. I noticed you folks are shooting at us. Is there a problem I can help you with? Admiral Kexith's 4 arms shook with anger. Human, surrender your station immediately. I am afraid I cannot do that. Ben replied. Too many people depend on this station for their jobs. But I would be happy to discuss any concerns you might have. Would you like some coffee? We have very good coffee here. Fire again. The Admiral screamed at his crew. The alien. Ships fired another volley. This time, something even stranger happened. The energy beams appeared to bend around the station, like water flowing around a rock. Some of the beams curved back toward the alien ships themselves. Evasive maneuvers. Captain Vexra shouted. 3 alien ships had to dodge their own weapons. Fire. At that moment, a small human ship appeared from behind an asteroid. It was much smaller than the alien warships. The words Wanderer were painted on its side in cheerful blue letters. Captain Steve Morgan opened a communication channel from his ship. He was a young man with a friendly smile and messy brown hair. Good morning, everyone, he said. I am Captain Morgan of the patrol ship Wanderer. I could not help but notice all the excitement over here. Is everyone okay? Admiral Kexith could not believe what he was seeing. Human vessel, you are outnumbered 50 to 1. Surrender or be destroyed. Steve scratched his head. 50 to 1? That does not seem very fair. Are you sure you need that many ships for one little mining station? We are the Galactic Council. We have the finest weapons in known space. Well, that is nice, Steve said. But you seem to be having trouble hitting anything. Are your targeting systems working properly? My engineer might be able to help. On Steve's ship, Chief Engineer Katie Foster was a short woman with bright red hair. She looked at the alien ships on her screen and shook her head. Poor things, she said. Their weapons are so old-fashioned. Steve, should I show them how it is done? Just a small demonstration, Katie. We do not want to hurt anyone. Katie pressed a few buttons on her console. The Wanderer's single defensive turret turned toward the alien fleet. It was small and did not look dangerous at all. "Firing one pulse," Katie announced. A brief flash of light came from the human ship. It was so quick that most people missed it, but 3 of the largest alien warships suddenly went dark. Their engines stopped working. Their weapons powered down. Their lights went out. "What did you do to our ships?" Admiral Kext H demanded. "Oh, we just turned them off," Katie explained cheerfully. "They are perfectly safe. Everyone inside is fine. The ships just need a little nap. They will wake up in a few hours." Captain Steve looked concerned. "I hope your people have enough air and heat. It gets cold in space when the power is off. We have rescue ships on the way if you need help." Admiral Kexith stared at his screens. 3 of his best warships had been disabled by what looked like a minor power fluctuation. His science officer was studying the readings with growing fear. "Sir, I cannot understand how they did that. Our ships show no damage, but every system has been shut down. It is like someone just ... asked them to stop working." Meanwhile, on Earth, President Helen Clark was holding a press conference. She was a calm woman in her 60s with silver hair and a kind smile. Reporters asked her about the alien attacks. "We are very concerned about the safety of the alien crews," she said. "Being stranded in space is dangerous. We are sending humanitarian aid ships to help anyone who needs assistance." One reporter raised his hand. "Madam President, are you not worried about the war?" "War?" President Clark looked puzzled. "I thought this was just a misunderstanding. The aliens seem confused about something. We will help them figure it out." General Danny Wright stood beside the president. He was trying very hard not to laugh. When a reporter asked about Earth's military response, he cleared his throat. "We are recommissioning some of our older ships," he said carefully. "Museum pieces, really. But they should be adequate for rescue operations." What the general did not mention was that Earth's museum ships were left over from the early days of space exploration. They had been built with the most advanced defensive systems humans could create. Even the oldest ones were far beyond anything the aliens had ever seen. Back at the mining station, Admiral Kext H was growing desperate. Half his fleet was afraid to shoot, and the other half was trying to figure out why their weapons did not work. Ben Adams opened another communication channel. "Admiral, you and your people are welcome to dock at our station. We have medical facilities if anyone is hurt. Our cafeteria serves food that most species can eat." "We do not need your help," the Admiral shouted. "Are you sure? You look frustrated." "Sometimes it helps to talk about your problems with someone." Captain Steve's ship moved closer to the alien fleet. "Admiral Kext, may I ask why you want to fight us? Have we done something to upset you?" The alien admiral paused. The question caught him off guard. You are humans. You are weak. You deserve to be conquered. But why do you want to conquer us? Do you need our planets? Our resources? Maybe we can share." Admiral Kexith had never been asked this question before. In all his years of conquest, nobody had ever offered to share. They had always fought back or surrendered in terror. "This is not how war works," he said weakly. "Maybe we are doing it wrong," Steve admitted. "We have not had a war in a very long time. We might be out of practice." The alien admiral looked at his disabled ships, the untouchable mining station, and the cheerful human faces on his screens. For the first time in his military career, he began to wonder if he had made a terrible mistake. Admiral Kext H was having the worst month of his long military career. His fleet had attacked 7 human colonies, and every single battle had ended in embarrassing failure. His ships were being disabled by weapons he could not see. His soldiers were being captured by smiling humans who offered them snacks. The latest disaster had happened at New Seattle. Lieutenant Colonel Emma Davis commanded what the humans called an orbital platform. It looked like a simple space station where people lived and worked. Admiral Kexith had been sure it would be an easy target. He had been very wrong. "Report," he said tiredly to his science officer. "Sir, the platform has defensive capabilities that should not exist. They created a gravity well that pulled our missiles off course. Their energy shields bent space itself. And when we tried to retreat, they somehow made our engines work backward." Admiral Kexith rubbed his head with all four hands. "How many ships did we lose this time?" "None destroyed, sir. But 12 more have been turned off. The humans towed them to what they call a parking orbit. They left welcome baskets for our crews." The alien admiral looked at the latest message from Lieutenant Colonel Davis. She had sent it with a cheerful video of her platform. What had looked like a civilian space station was now clearly revealed as something else entirely. Massive defensive. Arrays unfolded from hidden sections. Energy collectors that looked like artwork became powerful shield generators. Even the gardens and parks on the station's surface were somehow part of its defensive system. "Hello, Admiral Kext," Emma Davis said in the video. She was a tall woman with short black hair and friendly eyes. "I hope your crews are comfortable in their temporary accommodations. We have arranged for them to receive 3 meals a day and access to our entertainment networks. Please let us know if they need anything else." The Admiral wanted to throw something, but there was nothing left to throw. He had tried that after the 3rd failed battle down on the planet New Seattle. Civilian engineer Chris Baker was giving a tour to some captured alien soldiers. Chris was a young man who designed buildings for a living. The aliens had asked him how human structures could be so strong. "Well, it started about 800 years ago," Chris explained as they walked through the city. "We realized that if we were going to live in space, everything needed to be able to protect itself." One of the alien prisoners, a reptilian creature named Glix, looked confused. "But these are just apartment buildings." "Sure, but look closer," Chris said. He pointed to what looked like decorative metal work on the building's walls. "Those patterns are actually energy dispersal grids. If someone shoots at this building, the energy gets spread out and absorbed into the foundation." They walked past a school where human children were playing. The playground equipment looked normal, but Glix's scanner showed it was generating a powerful defensive field. "The swings have shields?" Glix asked in amazement. "Of course," Chris replied. "Children play here. We want them to be safe." Another alien, a blue-skinned female named Yara, pointed at a flower garden. "What about those plants?" Chris smiled. "The roots are connected to underground power conduits. If needed, those flowers can create an energy barrier that would stop a nuclear explosion. But mostly they just look pretty and smell nice." The alien stared at the garden in shock. Their most powerful weapons could not scratch a flower bed. Meanwhile, on Earth, Dr. Nicole Peters was interviewing more captured aliens in her laboratory. She was a xenobiologist who studied alien life forms. The captured soldiers were healthy and well-fed, but very confused. "We based our invasion plans on 1,000-year-old data," explained Captain X, a 6-legged insectoid officer. "Back then, your species had just learned to leave your home planet. You seemed weak and primitive." Dr. Peters nodded as she took notes. "That makes sense. We were very different back then." "What did your intelligence reports tell you about us?" "That humans were soft-skinned bipeds with no natural weapons. Your technology was basic. Your society was divided and quarrelsome. You spent most of your time fighting each other." "Well, that was true a long time ago," Dr. Peters admitted. "But we grew out of that phase. What made you think we had not changed?" Captain Vex looked embarrassed. The Galactic Council assumed that inferior species do not evolve. We thought you would still be the same weak creatures from 1,000 years ago. Dr. Peters made more notes. Did anyone suggest checking for recent information about humans? Intelligence gathering is expensive. Beck said the Council decided it was not necessary for such a primitive species. Across human space, Fleet Admiral Kevin Nash was reading reports from his commanders. Every human colony and station had easily defeated alien attacks. The humans had not lost a single ship or installation. In fact, the biggest problem was finding places to keep all the captured alien crews. Admiral Nash was an older man with white hair and laugh lines around his eyes. He had served in the Space Force for 40 years, but this was the strangest war he had ever seen. His aide, Commander Lisa Brown, brought him the latest casualty reports. Any injuries? The Admiral asked. 3 cases of people laughing too hard. While watching the alien surrender broadcasts, Commander Brown reported. 2 pulled muscles and 1 case of hiccups that lasted 6 hours. Medical says everyone will be fine. Admiral Nash chuckled. What about enemy casualties? None killed or seriously injured. We have about 3,000 alien prisoners spread across 12 worlds. Most of them are asking for asylum. They do not want to go back to the Galactic Council. The Admiral was not surprised. The captured aliens had discovered that human society was nothing like what they had been told. Humans had art, music, literature, and science. They had beautiful cities and peaceful planets. Most importantly, they had no desire to conquer or harm other species. Many of the alien soldiers were requesting to stay on human worlds permanently. On the Zephyrian flagship, Admiral Kext H was receiving increasingly frantic messages from the Galactic Council. The other alien species were demanding to know why the humans had not surrendered yet. You said this would be easy, screamed Chancellor Vex from the Galactic Council chambers. You said the humans were weak. They are weak. Admiral Kexith protested. They have no weapons, no warships, no armies. Then why are you losing? The Admiral stared at his communication screen. How could he explain that the humans did not need weapons because they had made everything else into a weapon? How could? He described shields that worked by convincing attacks to go somewhere else. They cheat, he said finally. What do you mean, they cheat? Their defenses do not work the way defenses are supposed to work. Their technology does not follow normal rules. They make our weapons stop working just by asking them nicely. Chancellor Vex's face turned purple with anger. You are making excuses. I am telling the truth. These creatures have spent 1,000 years turning defense into an art form. Every building, every vehicle, every garden tool has defensive capabilities. That would make our best warships jealous. The communication ended with Chancellor Vex shouting about incompetent military leaders. Admiral Kext H slumped in his command chair. Around him, his bridge crew looked worried and defeated. Sir, Captain Vexra said quietly, perhaps we should consider retreat. Retreat? Admiral Kexith laughed bitterly. Where would we go? The Council will execute us for failure, and the humans ... The humans will probably offer to help us find new jobs. He was right about that. Earth's diplomatic corps had already sent several messages, offering career counseling and job placement services for any aliens who wanted to change professions. As Admiral Kext H sat on his ship, trying to figure out what to do next, he received a personal message from Jake Martinez, the same human diplomat who had first responded to his war declaration. Hi, Admiral, Jake said cheerfully. I hope you are doing well. I wanted to let you know that we really appreciate how polite your soldiers have been. Very well-behaved prisoners. Anyway, I was wondering if you might be interested in a peaceful solution to this whole misunderstanding. We could meet for coffee. and talk things over. What do you think? Admiral Kexith stared at the message for a long time. In his entire military career, no enemy had ever offered to solve a war over coffee dot, maybe. He thought it was time to try something new. 6 months had passed since the failed alien invasion began. Admiral Kexith had lost most of his fleet to the strange human defenses. His soldiers were deserting to join human colonies. The Galactic Council was threatening to replace him with someone more competent. In desperation, the Zephyrian Empire made one final decision. They would attack Earth itself with every remaining ship in their fleet. Surely, the human homeworld could not have the same impossible defenses as their colonies. Admiral Kexth stood on his bridge as the largest alien armada ever assembled moved through space toward the blue and green planet called Earth. 300 warships from 12 different species. Enough firepower to crack a moon in half. This time will be different, he told himself. Earth is old. Their defenses will be outdated. He was wrong about that. Captain Tony Brooks commanded the Luna Defense Platform, a space station that orbited Earth's moon. He was a calm man with silver hair who had been watching the alien fleet approach for 3 days. He sipped coffee from his favorite mug while reviewing the defensive grid status. "How many ships are coming, sir?" asked his tactical officer, Lieutenant Amy Clark. "About 300, Tony replied. "Biggest fleet they have sent so far. Should we be worried?" Tony smiled. "Nah. The old defenses have not been activated in about 200 years. It will be nice to see if they still work." Around Earth's moon, what looked like ancient communication arrays and mining equipment began to change. Hidden panels opened to reveal technology that made the alien weapons look like stone tools. The moon itself started to hum with power. On Earth's surface, Mayor Sandra Bell of New York was making an announcement to her city. She was a cheerful woman who believed in keeping people informed about current events. "Citizens of New York," she said over the city's communication system, "we are about to have some visitors from space. They seem upset about something, but there is nothing to worry about. The subway system will be rerouted to provide the best viewing angles for tonight's light show. Bring snacks." People across the city reacted the way New Yorkers always reacted to unusual news. They shrugged and went about their business. Many families set up blankets on rooftops to watch whatever was about to happen. In Central Park, children played on swings while their parents prepared picnic dinners. Food vendors began selling alien invasion specials, hot dogs and pretzels with glow-in-the-dark sauce. Admiral Kexith watched Earth grow larger on his screens. The planet looked peaceful and defenseless. Cities sparkled with lights. Ships moved calmly between Earth and its moon. Nobody seemed to be preparing for battle. "Sir, we are detecting some unusual energy readings from the moon," his science officer reported. "What kind of readings?" "Unknown, sir. The power output is ... significant." Admiral Kexith ignored the warning. His fleet was massive. 300 of the most advanced warships in the galaxy. What could one little planet do against such overwhelming force? "All ships, prepare for final attack," he commanded. "Target the major cities. Show these humans the price of defying the Galactic Council." In the Earth Defense Center, Colonel Andrew Taylor sat at his console drinking tea. He was responsible for coordinating the planet's defensive systems. Most of the time, his job was very boring. Earth had not been attacked in over 800 years. "Colonel, should I activate the grid?" asked his assistant, Sergeant Pete Wilson. "Let them get a little closer," Andrew replied. "No point in showing off until they are committed to the attack." Around Earth, satellites that people thought were HFY weather monitoring and communications began to unfold. Ancient defense platforms hidden in asteroid orbits powered up for the first time in centuries. The space around Earth started to shimmer with energy fields that bent light in strange ways. Admiral Kexith gave the order to attack. 300 alien warships fired their weapons at once. The combined firepower was enough to destroy a dozen planets. Beams of energy and streams of missiles streaked toward Earth like falling stars. The people on the rooftops cheered and pointed at the pretty lights in the sky. Then something beautiful and terrifying happened. The space around Earth seemed to come alive. Reality itself bent and twisted as the planet's defensive grid activated fully for the first time in centuries. The alien weapons fire simply stopped existing. Not absorbed, not redirected, but politely asked to be somewhere else. The missiles found themselves turned around and heading back toward the ships that fired them. Energy beams curved through dimensions that hurt to think about. What is happening? Admiral Kexith screamed at his instruments. Sir, our weapons are confused. They do not know which way to go. That is impossible. On his screen, Admiral Kexith watched Earth's true defenses reveal themselves. The moon unfolded like a flower, showing weapons platforms that dwarfed his entire fleet. Asteroids in nearby space turned out to be disguised battle stations. Even Earth's clouds began to glow with defensive energy, but the most impossible thing was the planet itself. Earth was not just protected by its defenses. Earth was the defense. The entire planet had been turned into a massive shield generator, powered by the sun and anchored in the fabric of space itself. Colonel Andrew Taylor checked his instruments and nodded with satisfaction. 17 minutes from start to finish, he announced to his staff. Not bad for a system that has not been used in 8 centuries. The alien fleet found itself gently, but firmly moved to a parking orbit around Earth's moon. Their weapons were disabled, their engines were turned off, and their communication systems were filled with polite messages, offering technical assistance and refreshments. Admiral Kexith H. sat in his command chair, staring at the impossible sight outside his viewports. His mighty fleet was floating helplessly in space, surrounded by defense platforms that seemed to exist partially in normal space and partially somewhere else. Communication request came in from Earth. Admiral Kexith H. accepted it, expecting to hear demands for surrender. Instead, he saw the face of President Helen Clark. She was sitting in what looked like a normal office, with flowers on her desk and pictures of her grandchildren on the wall. "Hello, Admiral," she said kindly. "I hope your fleet is comfortable. We have prepared temporary accommodations for your cruise. Medical teams are standing by if anyone needs assistance." You defeated us," Admiral Kexith said in shock. "Defeated? Oh no, I do not think we defeated anyone. We just made sure nobody got hurt. Would you like to come down to Earth? We could discuss whatever is troubling you." Admiral Kexith looked around his bridge. His officers were staring at their instruments in confusion and fear. Everything they knew about warfare had just been proven wrong. "How?" he asked. "How did you do this?" President Clark smiled. "We had 1,000 years of peace, Admiral. We spent that time solving problems instead of creating them. When your biggest worry is keeping everyone safe and happy, you get very good at keeping everyone safe and happy. But the power required the technology. Oh, that." The president waved her hand. "When you have nothing else to do for a millennium, you learn some interesting things about physics. Turns out the universe is much more cooperative than most people think, if you ask it nicely." Admiral Kexith's worldview crumbled completely. "What happens to us now? That depends on what you want to happen. You and your people are welcome to stay as long as you like. We have plenty of room, and frankly, it would be nice to have some new perspectives around here. Or if you prefer, we can help you find your way home. No pressure either way." The alien admiral stared at the human president. In his culture, defeated enemies were enslaved or executed. The idea of being offered a choice was completely foreign. To him, "You would let us go? Just like that? Of course. Though I should mention that several of your soldiers have already requested asylum. They seem to like it here. Apparently, our food is better than military rations." Admiral Kext H closed his eyes and tried to process what was happening. His invasion had failed completely. His fleet was captured. His career was over. And humans were offering him coffee and citizenship. It was the strangest defeat in galactic history. On Earth below, the people of New York were giving the alien light show a standing ovation. The mayor was already planning a welcome parade for their new alien neighbors. Food trucks were being moved into position to feed 300,000 hungry alien soldiers. The greatest invasion fleet in galactic history had become the galaxy's most expensive refugee crisis. And somehow, that seemed perfectly normal to the humans. 5 years had passed since the failed invasion of Earth. The galaxy was a very different place now. Admiral Keksif, former commander of the Zephyrian fleet, walked through the halls of Earth University, wearing the blue robes of a graduate student. It still felt strange to him. "Good morning, Admiral," said Dr. Alan Gray, his professor. Dr. Gray was a small man with wild white hair and kind eyes. He taught courses in defensive technology and peaceful problem-solving. "Good morning, Professor," Keksith replied. He still had trouble with human customs, but he was learning. "I have finished reading about your early shield generators. I do not understand how they work," Dr. Gray smiled. "That is perfectly normal. They do not work the way most people expect technology to work. Would you like me to explain again?" They walked together toward the laboratory. Around them, human and alien students chatted in hallways lined with artwork from dozens of different worlds. The university had become a symbol of the new galactic civilization that humans had accidentally created. "Professor, may I ask you something?" Keksith said as they entered the lab. "Of course. Why did humans spend 1,000 years learning to defend themselves instead of learning to attack others?" Dr. Gray paused at his desk. It was covered with papers, coffee cups, and a small plant that his daughter had given him. "That is an interesting question. I suppose it is because we learned something important very early in our space age." "What did you learn?" "That the universe is big and full of dangerous things. Asteroids, radiation, equipment failures, accidents. We realized that if we wanted to survive out here, we needed to get very good at protecting ourselves from everything that could go wrong." Kext nodded slowly. "But what about protecting yourself from other species?" "Well," Dr. Gray said, setting up an experiment, we figured that if we could protect ourselves from black holes and supernovas, protecting ourselves from weapons would not be much harder. Turns out we were right. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, the former Galactic Council was being restructured into something new. Dr. Rachel Moore, humanities expert on galactic politics, was helping former enemies learn to work together peacefully. Meeting room on the space station was filled with representatives from dozens of species. They had been arguing about trade routes for 3 hours. Dr. Moore, a patient woman with short brown hair, listened to their complaints with the calm expression of someone who had raised 5 children. "Species Representative Vorth," she said, to a large armored creature, "you say that the Clixon trade ships are too slow?" "Yes, they block shipping lanes for days." Representative Slixon, who looked like a walking tree, rustled his leaves indignantly. "Our ships are perfectly adequate. The Vorth vessels are simply too impatient." Dr. Moore made notes on her tablet. "Have either of you considered coordinating your schedules? Perhaps the Vorth ships could use the express lanes while Clixon ships use the scenic routes?" Both aliens stared at her. "There are scenic routes?" asked Representative Vorth. "Of course. Humans mapped them years ago. Some species enjoy taking their time and seeing interesting nebulae along the way. Others prefer to get where they are going quickly. No reason both approaches cannot work. Within an hour, Dr. Moore had helped them create a solution that made everyone happy. It was a skill that humans had developed over their long years of peace, the ability to find ways for different groups to coexist without fighting. On Earth, former Admiral Kexith was struggling with a problem. His professor had given him an assignment to design a simple defensive system, but everything he created kept turning into a weapon. "I do not understand," he told his study group. The group included 2 humans, a reformed Zephyrian soldier and a former Galactic Council scientist. "How do you make defenses that do not hurt attackers?" Susan Miller, a human engineering student, looked at his designs. "Well, what are you trying to defend against?" "Weapons fire." "Okay, so instead of destroying the weapons fire, what if you just asked it to go somewhere else?" Kexith blinked all 4 of his eyes. "You can ask weapons fire to go somewhere?" "Sure," said Tom Baker, another human student. "Energy wants to follow the path of least resistance. If you make it easier for the energy to go around your target than through it, the energy will choose to go around." "But that is not how physics works." Susan and Tom exchanged glances. "Have you taken Professor Gray's course on applied physics?" Susan asked. "Not yet. You should. Humans have learned some interesting things about how the universe really works. Most of what other species think they know about physics is only partially correct." That afternoon, Kexith attended his first applied physics lecture. Professor Gray stood in front of a classroom filled with alien students who looked confused and slightly frightened. "Today we will discuss the concept of polite matter," Professor Gray announced cheerfully. "Can anyone tell me what happens when you ask a proton nicely to move?" A Clixon student raised a branch-like appendage. "Professor, matter does not respond to requests." "Are you sure about that?" Professor Gray activated a device on his desk. A stream of particles appeared in the air, glowing softly. "Particles, would you mind forming a heart shape?" The stream of matter immediately rearranged itself into a perfect heart. The alien students gasped in shock. "You see," Professor Gray explained, "matter is much more cooperative than most people realize. The problem is that most species try to force matter to do what they want. Humans learned to ask politely instead." After class, Kexith approached the professor with a worried expression. "Professor Gray, this changes everything I thought I knew about science." "Yes, it tends to do that," the professor agreed. "Do not worry. Everyone goes through this phase when they first learn human physics. You will get used to it. But if matter can be asked to cooperate, why did no other species discover this?" Professor Gray thought for a moment. Probably because they were too busy fighting wars to notice. When you spend all your time trying to destroy things, you do not learn much about cooperation. Humans had 1,000 years of peace to experiment with asking the universe nicely instead of demanding things from it. Across human space, the results of this philosophy were visible everywhere. Former alien soldiers worked alongside human engineers, building space stations that seemed to defy the laws of physics. Trade ships moved along routes that bent through folded space, cutting travel time from months to days. Ambassador Marcus Johnson, who had spent the last 5 years helping former enemies integrate into human society, was preparing for his biggest challenge yet. The Galactic Rehabilitation Program was sending its first joint expedition beyond the galaxy's edge. The ship was called Harmony, and it was crewed by volunteers from 20 different species. Their mission was to find new civilizations and welcome them into the peaceful federation that humans had accidentally created. Captain Julie Stone stood on the bridge of Harmony, looking at her diverse crew. She was a tall woman with gray hair who had spent her career exploring unknown regions of space. Beside her stood her first officer, former Admiral Kexeth, who had requested a chance to help spread peace instead of war. "Ready for departure, Captain," reported Lieutenant Yix, the ship's navigation officer. Yix was one of the former Galactic Council scientists who had decided to stay and work with humans. "Excellent," Captain Stone replied. "Take us out, Lieutenant." As Harmony left the galaxy behind, its crew carried with them the most dangerous weapon humans had ever created. Idea that different species could work together without fighting. It was an idea that had already transformed one galaxy, and now it was heading toward the stars beyond. On Earth, Dr. Gray was grading papers in his office when he received a message from Captain Stone. The expedition had found their first new civilization, a species that had been at war with itself for 10,000 years. "They have agreed to meet with us," Captain Stone reported. "They want to know how we learn to live in peace." Dr. Gray smiled and began composing a reply. He would recommend starting with the basics, teaching them to ask matter politely instead of forcing it to obey. From there, they could learn about cooperation, shared resources, and the radical idea that problems were more fun to solve together than alone. It would take time, but humans had plenty of that. After all, they had learned patience during their 1,000 years of peace. Now they had eternity to share what they had discovered with the rest of the universe. In his laboratory, former Admiral Kexeth finally succeeded in designing his first purely defensive system. It would protect a space station from weapon fire by convincing the attacks to become flowers instead. He was not sure why it did that, but Professor Gray had taught him that sometimes the universe had a sense of humor. As he looked at his work, Kexeth realized that he was happier now than he had ever been as a conqueror. Learning to create instead of destroy, to protect instead of attack, to cooperate instead of dominate, these were the real victories. The greatest joke in galactic history had become the foundation of galactic peace. And somewhere in the universe, reality itself was smiling.
The metal walls of the USS Horizon vibrated as the alien ship approached Earth's orbit. Commander Alex Morgan stood with his hands behind his back, watching the massive vessel through the main view screen. This was the third visit from the Galactic Confederation in just 3 months, and each time they came with more ships and more demands. "They're hailing us, sir," said Communications Officer Donna Reed, her fingers moving quickly across her console. Alex nodded. "Put them through." The screen changed to show the blue-skinned alien ambassador Zarvex. His 4 eyes blinked in sequence, a gesture Alex had learned meant impatience. "Commander Morgan," the alien said, his translator making his voice sound flat and artificial. "My superiors grow tired of Earth's delays. The Galactic Confederation requires your answer today. Earth must join our alliance and submit to our authority, or face the consequences." Alex kept his face calm, though his heart beat faster. "Ambassador, as I've explained before, Earth's government requires time to consider such an important decision. President Benson has called for a global meeting to—" "No more meetings," Zarvex cut him off. "No more delays. We have studied your planet for decades. We know you are just beginning to explore your own solar system. Your technology is primitive compared to ours. You have no choice but to accept our protection." On a separate screen visible only to Alex, a message appeared from Earth Command. "Keep them talking. Fleet Admiral Wright preparing response." "Ambassador," Alex said, choosing his words carefully, "perhaps we could discuss what Earth would gain from this arrangement. Your Confederation speaks of protection, but we've seen no threats in our region of space." The alien made a sound that might have been a laugh. "That is because we have kept them away. There are species in this galaxy that would harvest your world for resources without a second thought. Only our protection has kept you safe." Alex knew this was a lie. Earth's deep space monitoring stations had detected the Confederation ships long before they announced themselves. It was the Confederation that had been watching Earth, not protecting it. "We appreciate your concern," Alex said, "but Earth has survived for thousands of years on its own. We An alarm sounded on the bridge. Lieutenant Ben Harris at the tactical station looked up with wide eyes. "Sir, we're detecting weapons fire. Confederation ships are attacking the Mars colonies." The view screen split to show feeds from the Mars outposts. 3 research stations, home to over 200 scientists and engineers, erupted in flames as alien ships fired from orbit. "What is the meaning of this?" Alex demanded, real anger breaking through his calm mask. Zarvex's upper set of eyes narrowed. "A demonstration, Commander. A small taste of what awaits Earth if you continue to resist. The Mars colonies are unimportant. Their loss will help your leaders understand the seriousness of our offer." Alex's hands curled into fists. The colonies weren't military targets. They were research stations working on terraforming and astronomy projects. "This is an act of war," he said quietly. "No, Commander," the alien replied. "This is an act of correction, like disciplining a child. You have 6 Earth hours to inform your leaders and prepare your surrender. We will accept nothing less than complete submission." The transmission cut off. Alex turned to his crew, who looked to him with shock and anger on their faces. "Sir," said Navigator Patricia Kelly, "what do we do?" Before Alex could answer, a priority message came through on his personal channel. It was from Fleet Admiral Susan Wright herself, her gray hair pulled back tightly and her eyes hard as steel. "Commander Morgan, you've witnessed their first move," she said. "Are you and your crew ready for what comes next?" Alex stood straighter. "Yes, Admiral. The horizon stands ready." "Good. For the past 70 years, we've been preparing for this day. Since the first alien ship was detected near Jupiter in 1957, Earth's governments have worked together in secret. While we showed the world rockets and space shuttles, we built something much more powerful hidden within the moons of Saturn." Alex had been briefed on some of this when he took command of the Horizon, but even he didn't know the full extent of Earth's secret programs. "The Horizon isn't just an observation vessel, is it?" he asked. Admiral Wright's mouth curved in a small smile. "No, Commander. The Horizon is the first of our Phantom fleet. The ships appear basic on all scans, but they carry our most advanced systems. Your vessel has weapons that can target their engines with perfect accuracy. No loss of alien life, but they won't be going anywhere." "And the Mars colonies?" Alex asked, thinking of the lives lost. "The people are safe, Commander. What the Confederation destroyed were empty buildings and clever projections. We evacuated the real colonies 3 weeks ago, when our intelligence suggested the Confederation was losing patience. The colonists are now in the underground bases on Europa." Relief washed through Alex. "What are your orders, Admiral?" "Connect me to your main screen. It's time to address your crew, and then I have a message for our unwelcome visitors." Alex nodded to Donna, who patched the Admiral through to the main screen. The bridge crew stood at attention. "Men and women of the USS Horizon," Admiral Wright said, her voice strong and clear. "Today the Galactic Confederation has shown their true nature. They believe us to be weak, primitive, and easily conquered. They believe this because that is what we wanted them to believe." She paused, looking at each person on the bridge through the screen. "Since the first hint of alien presence in our solar system, Earth's nations put aside their differences to prepare in secret. While we showed the galaxy our first awkward steps into space, we were building a fleet that could defend not just Earth but humanity wherever we might go in the stars." The Admiral's image was replaced by a view of Saturn. As they watched, the surface of one of its small moons seemed to split open, revealing a hidden base. Ships began to emerge, sleek and deadly, nothing like the bulky vessels Earth had publicly sent into space. "Today we stop pretending," Admiral Wright continued as her image returned to the screen. "Commander Morgan, activate the Horizon's true systems. Show them what Earth can really do." Alex turned to his tactical officer. "Lieutenant Harris, bring all systems online, weapons, drives, shields, everything." Ben's fingers flew over his console. Around them, the bridge began to change. Hidden panels slid away to reveal new stations. The lights shifted from standard white to a blue glow that seemed to pulse with energy. "Systems coming online, sir," Ben reported. "Quantum shields at full power, phase cannons charged, gravity displacement drive ready." Alex took a deep breath and sat in the commander's chair, which had also transformed, displaying holographic controls around him. "Admiral," he said, "the horizon is ready." Wright nodded. "Open a channel to the Confederation flagship. It's time they learned who they're really dealing with." Alex looked to Donna, who opened the channel with a touch. On the screen, Zarvex appeared, looking smug. "Have you called to offer your surrender, Commander?" the alien asked. "No, Ambassador," Alex replied calmly. "I've called to deliver a message from Earth." Admiral Wright's voice came through clearly as her image appeared beside Alex's on the alien's screen. "This is Fleet Admiral Susan Wright of Earth's United Defense Force. You have attacked our people and demanded our submission based on a false understanding of our capabilities. That was your mistake." The view changed to show Earth's fleet emerging, from bases on the Moon, on Mars, and from the rings of Saturn. "We were holding back," Admiral Wright said simply. "Not anymore." The alien ambassador Zarvex stared at the screen in shock. His four eyes blinked rapidly as he watched Earth's hidden fleet appear from bases all across the solar system. "This is impossible," he said. "Our scans showed no such technology, no such fleet." "Your scans showed what we wanted them to show," Admiral Wright replied. Her voice was calm but carried an edge of steel. "For 70 years we've monitored your Confederation. We've studied your weapons, your shields, and your tactics, all while letting you believe we were just taking our first steps into space." Commander Alex Morgan watched the alien's blue face change to a darker shade. It was the first time he had seen a Confederation representative look afraid. "Commander Morgan," Admiral Wright said, turning her attention away from the stunned ambassador, "you have new orders. The Horizon will join Attack Group 5 and move to protect the Jupiter outposts. The Confederation has a hidden fleet behind Europa. They plan to use it after we surrendered." "Yes, Admiral," Alex said, nodding to Navigator Kelly. "Plot a course to Jupiter, maximum speed." Patricia's fingers moved over her new controls. "Course plotted, sir. The Phantom drive is ready." Alex had trained in simulators for this moment, but using the actual drive was different. He gave the order, "Engage Phantom drive." The stars on the view screen blurred, then seemed to fold around the ship. The horizon moved in a way that defied normal physics, slipping partly out of regular space-time. What should have been a journey of months happened in seconds. They emerged near Jupiter, its massive storm visible below them. And there, hiding in the shadow of Europa, just as Admiral Wright had said, was a Confederation attack fleet of 7 large warships. "They haven't detected us yet," Lieutenant Ben Harris said from Tactical. "Our Phantom drive leaves no energy signature they can track." "How many Earth ships are in Attack Group 5? Alex asked. "3 others, sir. Communications Officer Donna," Reed answered. "They're waiting for your command. The USS Hermes, Orion, and Valiant." Alex took a deep breath. This would be humanity's first real space battle. Everything they had trained for was about to be tested. Send to all ships, deploy quantum shields and ready phase cannons, target engines and weapon systems only. We want to disable, not destroy. The crew moved with practiced efficiency. Years of drills were paying off. There was fear in their eyes, but determination too. "Sir," Donna said suddenly, "we're receiving a transmission from Earth. It's being broadcast on all channels to every ship in the system." "Put it through," Alex ordered. The main screen showed President Olivia Benson standing in the Oval Office. Her face was serious, but unafraid. "People of Earth and members of the Galactic Confederation," she began. "Today the Confederation attacked our Mars colonies, believing they were killing innocent researchers. What they don't know is that we evacuated those colonies weeks ago. What they don't know is how much we've prepared." The President paused, her eyes looking directly into the camera. "For decades, Earth has hidden its true progress. We developed technology in secret, built bases throughout our solar system, and prepared defenses against the day when we would need them. That day has come." Alex and his crew watched in silence as President Benson continued. "To the people of Earth, do not be afraid. Our defenses are strong. Our ships are ready. The attack on Mars was expected and we were prepared. To the Galactic Confederation, we gave you every chance for peaceful contact. We studied your laws and customs. We were willing to join your alliance as equals. Instead, you demanded submission and attacked without warning. You have made a grave mistake." The president's voice grew stronger. "Earth is not helpless. We are not primitive. We were holding back, not anymore." The screen returned to the view of Jupiter and the hidden Confederation fleet. Alex stood from his chair. "Attack Group 5. This is Commander Morgan. Move into position. Prepare to reveal ourselves on my mark." The 4 Earth ships moved silently into a formation surrounding the Confederation fleet. The aliens still had no idea they were there, their sensors unable to detect vessels using the Phantom drive technology. "On my mark," Alex said. 3, 2, 1. Mark. All 4 ships dropped their cloaking fields at once, suddenly appearing around the surprised Confederation fleet. "Open a channel," Alex ordered. When the connection was made, Alex faced a startled Confederation captain with pale green skin and 6 eyes. "Confederation fleet," Alex said firmly. "This is Commander Alex Morgan of the Earth Defense Force. Your ships are surrounded and targeted. Power down your weapons and engines immediately." The alien captain hissed something that the translator couldn't catch. Then he barked orders to his crew in his own language. "Sir, they're powering weapons," Ben warned. "All ships, defensive positions," Alex commanded. "Engage quantum shields." The Confederation ships fired first, energy beams lancing out toward the Earth vessels. The beams hit the quantum shields and seemed to vanish into them, absorbed completely. "Return fire," Alex ordered. "Target their engine systems and weapons only." The Earth ships fired their phase cannons. Unlike the bright energy beams of the Confederation weapons, these released focused pulses that passed right through the alien shields as if they weren't there. The pulses hit the engines of each Confederation ship with surgical precision. One by one, the alien ships lost power, their lights flickering and dying. In less than a minute, the entire Confederation attack fleet was drifting helplessly in space. "No casualties on either side," Ben reported, sounding almost surprised. "All Confederation ships disabled, but life support systems remain functional." Alex nodded, satisfied. "Open a channel to their lead ship." The green-skinned captain appeared on screen again, now looking completely shocked. "How?" he demanded. "How did you pass through our shields? They are the strongest in the galaxy." "Your shields work by creating an energy field that blocks matter and energy in normal space," Alex explained. "Our weapons operate partially outside normal space-time. Your shields can't stop what they can't fully detect." The alien's 6 eyes blinked rapidly as he processed this information. "The Confederation told us humans were barely space-capable," he said. "That you had only reached your own moon using chemical rockets." Alex allowed himself a small smile. "We wanted you to think that, while your spies watched our public space program, our real ships were being built in secret. We've had faster-than-light travel for over 40 years. The captain's face darkened. "The High Command will send more ships. You cannot hope to defeat the entire Confederation." "We don't want to defeat you," Alex replied. "We wanted to be left alone, or to join as equals. Your leaders chose war instead. Now they'll learn what humanity is truly capable of." Alex signaled to end the transmission. He turned to his crew, who were watching him with a mixture of pride and anxiety. "Send a message to Admiral Wright," he told Donna. "Jupiter fleet neutralized, no casualties. Awaiting further orders." The real test, Alex knew, was just beginning. The Confederation had thousands of ships across the galaxy, but now at least, they would know that Earth was not an easy target. Humanity had revealed itself at last, and the galaxy would never be the same. News of the Jupiter victory spread quickly through Earth's fleet. On the main command station orbiting Earth's moon, Fleet Admiral Susan Wright studied the holographic display showing the positions of all ships in the solar system. 7 disabled. Confederation vessels drifted near Jupiter, surrounded by 4 Earth ships. "The horizon performed exactly as expected," said Chief Engineer Greg Nelson, pointing to the data scrolling across his screen. "The Phantom drive worked perfectly, and their phase cannons disabled the enemy ships without destroying them." Admiral Wright nodded. Commander Morgan followed orders well. We don't want to kill if we don't have to. An alert sounded, and a young officer at the communication station straightened in her chair. Admiral, we're detecting multiple ships entering the solar system. They're coming from the direction of Alpha Centauri. How many? Wright asked, her voice steady. 23 ships, ma'am, much larger than the ones at Jupiter. The Admiral's expression remained calm, but her eyes hardened. It seems the Confederation is sending their real fleet now. She turned to her second-in-command, Captain Steve Davis. Signal all Earth ships. Operation Reveal is now in full effect. Deploy the Titan fleet. Captain Davis nodded and began transmitting the orders. On the holographic display, new symbols appeared, showing Earth ships emerging from hidden bases on Saturn's moon Titan. How long have we hidden these ships? Asked Greg, watching in awe as 30 advanced warships moved into formation. The first ones were built almost 50 years ago, Admiral Wright replied, each generation more advanced than the last. We've been preparing since we first detected alien signals in 1957. On the USS Horizon near Jupiter, Commander Alex Morgan received the alert about the incoming Confederation fleet. His crew looked to him with worried faces. Sir, Communications Officer Donna Reed said, Admiral Wright has ordered all ships to fall back to Saturn. The Titan fleet is deploying. Alex had heard rumors about the ships hidden on Titan, but even as a commander, he hadn't been told everything. Earth's defense had been built in layers with information shared only when necessary. Plot a course to Saturn, he ordered. We'll join the main fleet. As the Horizon moved away from Jupiter using its conventional drives, Alex watched on the view screen as a massive carrier ship emerged from its hiding place within Titan's thick atmosphere. It was at least 10 times larger than the Horizon, with sleek lines and no visible weapons. What is that? Navigator Patricia Kelly asked in awe. That's the EDS Defender, Alex replied, remembering the briefing files he'd been given when war seemed inevitable. Earth's first true carrier ship. It holds over 100 fighter craft inside. As they watched, small openings appeared in the sides of the Defender, and tiny ships began to pour out. Each was just big enough for one pilot, but they moved with incredible speed. Those are the Wasp fighters, Lieutenant Ben Harris said from his tactical station. They use a different version of the Phantom drive. They can move in ways no other ships can match. The Horizon joined a line of Earth ships, creating a defensive position around Saturn. The incoming Confederation fleet was visible now on their long-range sensors, 23 warships moving in a tight formation. On Earth, people gathered around screens to watch the news broadcasts. The government had decided to show everything, to let all humans see what was happening. There was fear but also pride as they watched Earth's hidden fleet reveal itself. President Olivia Benson stood in the Global Defense Center, a massive underground facility beneath the Rocky Mountains. Around her, military leaders from all Earth nations monitored the situation. The Confederation fleet will be in range in 10 minutes, reported General Laura Chen. They're broadcasting messages demanding our immediate surrender. President Benson shook her head. No more hiding, no more pretending to be weak. Send my message to all Earth ships. Her face appeared on screens throughout the fleet. Men and women of Earth's defense forces. Today we stand against those who would conquer us. For generations, we have prepared in secret, building our strength, while appearing peaceful. Now we must use that strength not for conquest, but for freedom. Remember your training. Remember your purpose. Earth stands with you. On the main command station, Admiral Wright gave the order, deploy the AI drone fighters. From bases on Mars and the asteroid belt, thousands of small unmanned ships launched. Each was controlled by an advanced AI system that could react faster than any human pilot. The drones will move first, Admiral Wright explained to her officers. They'll test the Confederation's defenses without risking human lives. As the Confederation fleet came within range, they launched their first attack. Energy weapons fired at the Earth ships, but quantum shields absorbed the impacts without damage. The AI drones swarmed forward, moving in complex patterns that seemed impossible to predict. They fired their small but precise weapons at the Confederation ships, targeting sensors, and weapon systems. The large alien ships tried to defend themselves, but they struggled to hit the quick, darting drones. For every drone they destroyed, 10 more took its place. From the horizon, Alex and his crew watched the battle unfold. The drones were creating confusion among the enemy ships. Now it was time for Earth's manned vessels to join the fight. "All ships advance formation," came Admiral Wright's order. "Engage phantom drives on my mark." Alex gave the command to his crew. The Horizon's engines hummed with power as they prepared to jump into battle. "Phantom drives, engage," ordered Admiral Wright. In an instant, Earth's fleet vanished from their position near Saturn, reappearing seconds later in the midst of the confused Confederation fleet. The enemy ships, still struggling with the drone attacks, were caught completely by surprise. "Target their engines and weapons," Alex ordered his tactical officer. "Disable, don't destroy." Phase cannons fired from all Earth ships at once. The beams passed through the Confederation shields as if they weren't there, striking with surgical precision. Within minutes, 15 of the 23 Confederation ships were drifting powerless in space. The remaining 8 tried to retreat, but the Wasp fighters from the Defender surrounded them, cutting off their escape. "This is Fleet Admiral Susan Wright to the remaining Confederation vessels," came the broadcast on all channels. "Your ships are surrounded. Your weapons are ineffective against our defenses. Surrender now." There was a long moment of silence. Then, one by one, the Confederation ships powered down their weapons. On the bridge of the Horizon, Commander Alex Morgan and his crew watched in amazement. They had just won a battle against what was supposed to be one of the most powerful forces in the galaxy. "Send to Admiral Wright," Alex told Donna. "All enemy ships in our sector have surrendered." Similar reports came in from across the battlefield. In less than 30 minutes, Earth had defeated the Second Confederation attack force without losing a single ship. As Alex looked at the stunned and relieved faces of his crew, he knew this was just the beginning. The Confederation would send more ships. The war was far from over, but the message had been sent. Earth was not weak. Earth was not helpless. Earth had been holding back, not anymore. 3 days after the battle near Saturn, Commander Alex Morgan sat in a meeting room aboard the Lunar Command Station. Around the large table sat other ship commanders, military leaders, and scientists. At the head of the table stood Admiral Susan Wright, her face serious as she addressed the group. "The Confederation has called for talks," she said. "They want to meet at a neutral location to discuss peace terms." "Do we trust them?" asked Captain Judy Bennett of the EDS Defender. Admiral Wright's mouth formed a thin line. "No. Our intelligence suggests this is a delay tactic while they gather a larger fleet. They've never faced a species that could resist them so effectively. They don't know how to respond." Alex leaned forward. "What's our next move, Admiral?" "We take the fight to them," she replied simply. "Earth has remained hidden long enough. It's time to show the galaxy what humanity can really do." A holographic display appeared above the table, showing star systems beyond Earth's solar system. One star glowed red, Alpha Centauri, the nearest star system to Earth. "The Confederation has a major supply base here," Admiral Wright continued, pointing to the red star. "It supports their operations in this entire sector of the galaxy. Our first target." The officers around the table exchanged looks. Earth ships had never openly traveled beyond the solar system before. This would be a major step. "What about the people back home?" asked General Sam Peterson. "They've just learned about our true capabilities and the existence of hostile aliens. There's fear, confusion." President Olivia Benson, who had been quietly listening from the end of the table, stood up. "I've addressed the United Nations this morning. All countries are united in this crisis. People are afraid, yes, but they're also proud. Proud that Earth was prepared. Proud that we can defend ourselves." She walked to stand beside Admiral Wright. For generations, the world's governments worked together in secret, pooling resources and setting aside old conflicts to prepare for this day. Now that preparation will pay off. Admiral Wright nodded. "Operation Forward begins tomorrow. The AE Horizon will lead the first attack group to Alpha Centauri. Your mission is to disable their base, not destroy it. We want to show restraint even in victory. Alex felt the weight of the responsibility settle on his shoulders. The horizon is ready, Admiral. Later that day, Alex walked through the corridors of his ship, checking in with his crew. They were busy with preparations, loading supplies, and running system checks. Many had families back on Earth. All understood the importance of their mission. In the engine room, Chief Engineer Marion Foster was examining the Phantom Drive core, a glowing blue cylinder surrounded by complex equipment. Will it hold up for the jump to Alpha Centauri? Alex asked. It's much further than we've gone before. Marion looked up, pushing her safety goggles onto her forehead. The drive can handle it, Commander. We've made some improvements based on data from our last jump. It should be even more stable now. Alex nodded. Good work, Chief. As he continued his rounds, he found Navigator Patricia Kelly in the ship's observation lounge, staring out at the stars. Nervous about tomorrow? He asked, stopping beside her. Patricia shook her head. Not nervous. Just thinking about what this all means. Humanity kept these advances secret for so long. We could have shared this technology, improved life on Earth. Instead, we built warships. Alex considered her words. The people who started this program saw something out there that scared them. They chose protection over progress. And they were right, Patricia said quietly. The Confederation didn't come in peace. No, they didn't, Alex agreed. But what we do next matters just as much. We can be protectors without becoming conquerors ourselves. The next morning, 5 Earth ships gathered at the edge of the solar system. The Horizon led the group, accompanied by the destroyers Valiant and Orion, and 2 newly revealed ships, the Pegasus and the Phoenix. On the bridge of the Horizon, Alex took his command chair. All systems ready? All systems green, Commander, reported Lieutenant Ben Harris from Tactical. Phantom Drive at full power. Communications check with all ships, Alex ordered. Donna Reed's fingers moved across her console. All ships reporting ready, sir. Alex took a deep breath. This would be the first time human ships officially traveled to another star. A historic moment. Send to all ships. Prepare for Phantom Drive jump on my mark. Destination, Alpha Centauri. The crew tensed with anticipation. The Phantom Drive was not like the jump drives described in old science fiction stories. It didn't create a tunnel through space or bend reality. Instead, it shifted the ship partially out of normal spacetime, allowing it to move vast distances with minimal energy. Mark, Alex said firmly. The stars on the view screen blurred, then seemed to fold around the ship. For a brief moment, everything looked strange, as if reality itself was fluid. Then the stars reappeared, with Alpha Centauri's bright light dominating the view. Jump complete, Navigator Kelly reported. All ships arrived safely. We're at the planned coordinates, just outside their sensor range. Alex nodded. Begin passive scans. Let's see what we're dealing with. Lieutenant Harris studied his displays. I'm detecting a large station in orbit around the 4th planet. Multiple ships docked there. Looks like 12 Confederation warships and about 20 smaller vessels. Any signs they've detected us? Alex asked. None, sir. Our Phantom Drive left no energy signature they could track. Alex considered the situation. 12 warships was more than they had faced in the previous battle, but now they had the element of surprise. Send to all Earth ships. Deploy AI drone fighters. Have them approach from multiple vectors, targeting the warship's engines and weapons, systems only. Across the 5 Earth vessels, launch bays opened. Hundreds of small unmanned craft poured out, their advanced AI systems already plotting attack courses. On the Confederation base, alarms suddenly blared as their sensors detected the approaching drones. The station's lights brightened as they went to full alert. Docked ships began powering up, but they were too slow. The drones struck with precision, disabling engines and weapons before the Confederation ships could properly respond. Within minutes, 10 of the 12 warships were drifting helplessly. The remaining 2 ships are powering up hyperdrives, Harris reported. They're attempting to escape. Let them go, Alex ordered. We want survivors to report what happened here. As the 2 Confederation ships vanished into hyperspace, Alex gave his next command. Move the fleet into visual range of the station. Open a channel to whoever's in charge there. The Earth ships appeared seemingly out of nowhere to the stunned Confederation forces. On the main view screen, a surprised alien face appeared. This one had purple skin and 3 eyes arranged in a triangle pattern. "This is Commander Alex Morgan of the Earth Defense Force," Alex said firmly. "Your station is surrounded and your ships have been disabled. We have not come to destroy you, but to deliver a message." The alien commander stared in shock. "How did you get here?" "Earth has no interstellar capability." Alex allowed himself a small smile. "That's what we wanted you to believe. Earth has had interstellar travel technology for decades. We kept it hidden until we needed it." He leaned forward, in his chair. "Your forces attacked our world without provocation. You demanded our surrender based on a false understanding of our capabilities. That was your mistake." The alien's eyes blinked rapidly. "What do you want from us?" "We want peace," Alex replied. "But we will not accept domination. Tell your leaders that Earth is willing to negotiate as equals, not as subjects. We were holding back, not anymore." As the Earth fleet secured the Confederation base, news of their victory spread quickly across the galaxy. Humanity had announced itself to the stars in a way no one had expected. Back on Earth, people looked up at the night sky with new understanding. They were not alone in the universe, and they were not helpless. 2 weeks after the Alpha Centauri mission, representatives from Earth arrived at the Galactic Council station. This massive ring-shaped structure orbited a neutral star at the center of the local galaxy group. For thousands of years, it had served as a meeting place for the many species that called the galaxy home. Commander Alex Morgan stood at a large window, looking out at the hundreds of alien ships docked at the station. The horizon had been chosen to transport Earth's diplomatic team, an honor Alex hadn't expected. "Quite a view, isn't it?" said Dr. Linda Carter, Earth's lead diplomat. She joined him at the window, her formal blue suit standing out against the casual clothes Alex wore while off duty. "I never imagined we'd be here so soon," Alex replied. "A month ago, the world didn't even know aliens existed. Now we're about to address the Galactic Council." Linda nodded. "The Confederation's attack forced our hand, but maybe it's better this way. No more secrets." A soft chime sounded from Linda's communication device. "It's time," she said. "The Council is ready to see us." Alex accompanied Linda and her team to the Great Council chamber. The room was enormous, with seating for representatives of over 200 species. At the center stood a round platform where speakers could address the gathered delegates. The Earth delegation took their assigned seats. Across the chamber, Alex spotted a group of blue-skinned Confederation representatives, including Ambassador Zarvex. The alien avoided looking in their direction. A tall, slender alien with silver skin and elongated limbs rose from the center chair. "This special session of the Galactic Council is now open," it announced in a melodic voice. "We are here to address the conflict between the Confederation and the newly revealed Earth Defense Force, and to welcome humanity to the galactic community, if they so wish to join." The silver alien gestured toward the speaking platform. "The Confederation may present their case first." A high-ranking Confederation official took the platform. He had the same blue skin as Zarvex, but wore elaborate golden robes that marked his higher status. "Honored council members," he began. "The Confederation approached Earth with peaceful intentions. We offered them protection and guidance, as we have done with many developing worlds. Their response was unprovoked aggression." Murmurs spread through the chamber. Alex clenched his fists but remained silent. He had been warned that the Confederation would try to twist the truth. "The Confederation," official continued. "We had no way of knowing they had developed such advanced technology in secret. Their deception posed a threat to galactic stability. Our actions were meant to ensure peace." When he finished, the Silver Council leader turned to the Earth delegation. "Earth may now present their response." Dr. Linda Carter walked confidently to the platform. She carried a small device which projected images as she spoke. "Honored council members," she began, "Earth did not deceive anyone. We simply kept our technological advancements private until we understood the nature of the galactic community. The device projected images of the Mars colonies being destroyed by Confederation ships. These were the Confederation's peaceful intentions, Linda said. They attacked our research outposts without warning. They demanded our surrender and threatened further violence if we refused. She touched the device again, and new images appeared. Historical records showing Confederation ships observing Earth as far back as the 1950s. For over 70 years, we detected Confederation vessels monitoring our world. We studied them in return. What we learned made us cautious. The Confederation has a history of subjugating developing worlds, stripping them of resources, and forcing them to serve Confederation interests. The blue-skinned officials shifted uncomfortably as Linda displayed records of other worlds that had suffered under Confederation rule. Earth chose to hide our true capabilities not out of deception, but out of prudence. When the Confederation attacked, we defended ourselves with minimal force. We disabled their ships rather than destroying them. We offered peace even after victory. Linda's voice grew stronger. Humanity does not seek conquest. We seek only to protect our world and to join the galactic community as equals. We were holding back our true nature, not just our technology, but our desire for peaceful cooperation. When Linda finished, the chamber was quiet. Then, one by one, representatives from other worlds began to stand. A reptilian alien with green scales spoke first. My world was protected by the Confederation for 3 centuries. Their protection came at the cost of our freedom. We support Earth's right to defend itself. Other representatives rose to speak. Some had also suffered under Confederation rule. Others were simply impressed by Earth's restraint and victory. A few remained neutral, calling for further investigation. After hours of debate, the Silver Council leader raised a hand for silence. The Council has heard enough to make an initial ruling. The Confederation's attack on Earth was unprovoked and unjustified. Earth's response was proportional and showed admirable restraint. The leader turned to Linda. Earth is recognized as a sovereign power with the right to defend itself. Furthermore, we extend an invitation for Earth to join the Galactic Council as a full member, with all rights and responsibilities that entails. Cheers erupted from many of the delegates. The Confederation representatives sat in stunned silence. Later, aboard the Horizon, Alex and his crew celebrated the victory. It wasn't just a military win, but a diplomatic one. Earth had been recognized by the galaxy. Admiral Susan Wright contacted them from Earth with new orders. The Horizon is to remain at the Council Station as Earth's first permanent embassy vessel. Commander Morgan, you'll work with Dr. Carter to establish formal relations with other worlds. Alex was surprised. Admiral, I'm not a diplomat. I'm a ship commander. Admiral Wright smiled. You're both now, Commander. You've shown good judgment under pressure. That's what we need out there. After the communication ended, Alex walked to the observation deck. His crew gathered around him, waiting for him to speak. For generations, humanity prepared for the worst, he said. We built weapons and ships. We trained for war, but that was never the whole story. He looked at each of them in turn. Our real strength wasn't just in our technology. It was in our restraint. We could have destroyed the Confederation ships. Instead, we disabled them. We could have demanded surrender. Instead, we offered peace. Navigator Patricia Kelly spoke up. So what happens now, Commander? Alex smiled. Now the real work begins. Making friends instead of just preparing for enemies. Building bridges instead of just ships. He turned to look out at the stars, at the vast galaxy now open to humanity. For 70 years we held back, not just our weapons, but our hopes. Our dreams of joining something larger than ourselves. Lieutenant Ben Harris raised a cup in toast. To not holding back anymore. Everyone joined in the toast. Not anymore. As the celebration continued, Alex thought about the message Earth had sent to the galaxy. It wasn't just about military power. It was about showing who humans truly were, capable of great strength but choosing to use it wisely. Earth had warned the galaxy. We were holding back. But the more important message was what came after, what humanity would do now that they didn't have to hold back anymore. Alex was eager to find out.